Picture this. Two tomato plants, same soil, same sunlight, same bag of fertilizer from the same store. One of them gives you a handful of pale, cracked tomatoes and quits by August. The other one turns into a jungle of deep red fruit that just keeps coming, week after week, like it never got the memo that summer is supposed to end. The difference between those two plants isn't luck, and it isn't some expensive greenhouse trick. It's one simple habit that almost nobody talks about, and by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what it is and exactly how to use it in your own garden, starting today. Hey, welcome back to Earthly Gardening, the place where we turn ordinary backyards into food-producing machines without spending a fortune doing it. If this is your first time here, I'm really glad you found us, and if you've been here before, welcome back. You already know how we do things around here. Simple methods, real results, and absolutely no need to break the bank. Today we're talking tomatoes, specifically how to get them ripening faster and how to keep that plant producing fruit long after your neighbor's tomatoes have thrown in the towel. Before we get into it, if you're the kind of person who actually wants a garden that feeds you instead of just looking pretty on Instagram, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. It genuinely helps this channel grow, and it means more of these budget-friendly tips landing right in your feed. Now let's get your tomato plants working the way they're supposed to. Why most tomato plants slow down too soon. Here's something most people never realize about tomatoes. A tomato plant isn't lazy when it slows down, it's stressed. It's putting all its energy into just staying alive instead of making fruit. Think of it like a person running on no sleep and no food, still trying to work a full shift. They might manage it for a while, but eventually something gives. Tomato plants do the exact same thing. Once they hit a certain stress level, they shift into survival mode, and survival mode means fewer flowers, slower ripening, and eventually the plant just stops bothering to produce. What's frustrating is that most gardeners blame the wrong things when this happens. They think their soil is bad, or their seeds were weak, or maybe tomatoes just aren't meant for their climate. In reality, the plant is usually sitting there sending out signals the whole time, small clues that something in its routine needs adjusting. Curling leaves, pale color, flowers dropping before they even open. These aren't random problems. They're a plant telling you exactly what it needs, if you know how to read it. The good news is that stress in tomato plants almost always comes down to a handful of fixable things. Water, food, light, airflow, and a little patience. Once you understand what's actually causing that stress, you can flip the switch and get your plant back into full production mode, often within a couple of weeks. The secret habit: consistent, deep watering. Let's talk about the one habit that changes everything, and it's not what most people expect. It's not a fancy fertilizer, it's not a miracle spray you buy online. It's water, but done in a very specific way that most gardeners get completely wrong. Most people water their tomatoes a little bit every day. A quick splash here, a quick splash there, just enough to keep the top of the soil looking damp. It feels responsible, it feels caring even, but it's actually one of the worst things you can do for a tomato plant. Shallow watering trains the roots to stay near the surface, which means the plant is constantly at the mercy of hot afternoons and dry spells. The roots never grow deep enough to find real moisture reserves, so the plant is basically living paycheck to paycheck, always one hot day away from panic. What you want instead is deep, less frequent watering. Give your tomato plant a long, slow soak, enough to really saturate the soil several inches down, and then let the top layer dry out a bit before you water again. This teaches the roots to grow downward, chasing that moisture, which builds a much stronger and more resilient plant. A plant with deep roots doesn't panic during a heat wave. It doesn't drop its flowers out of stress. It just keeps producing, because it's not living in constant fear of running dry. There's also a timing element people overlook. Watering in the early morning gives the plant time to absorb what it needs before the heat of the day arrives, and it allows any moisture on the leaves to dry off, which helps prevent fungal problems later. Watering in the evening can work too, but leaves that stay damp overnight are more prone to disease, so morning is usually the safer bet if you have a choice. A simple trick here: stick your finger about 2 inches into the soil before you water. If it's still damp, leave it alone. If it's dry, that's your sign to give it a deep drink. Some gardeners like using a simple wooden stick or even a chopstick, pushing it into the soil and pulling it out to see how much moisture clings to it. Either way works, the point is you're checking before you assume. This one change alone can be the difference between a plant that limps through summer and one that just keeps cranking out fruit. Feeding for fruit, not just leaves. Now let's talk about food, because this is where a lot of well-meaning gardeners accidentally sabotage themselves. Nitrogen-heavy fertilizers make a tomato plant look amazing. Big, thick, green leaves, a plant that looks like it's absolutely thriving. But here's the catch: all that energy going into leaves is energy that isn't going into fruit. You end up with a gorgeous, bushy plant that barely produces anything, because it's too busy growing itself instead of feeding you. Once your plant has flowered, it needs a different kind of support. Look for something higher in phosphorus and potassium rather than nitrogen. Phosphorus helps with strong root development and flower formation, and potassium is what actually helps fruit ripen faster and more evenly. If you want a natural, wallet-friendly option, something as simple as banana peels buried near the base of the plant can slowly release potassium into the soil as they break down. Crushed eggshells add a bit of calcium too, which helps prevent that annoying blossom end rot that ruins so many tomatoes right when they're almost ready to pick. A lot of experienced growers also swear by diluted Epsom salt, mixed into water and applied every few weeks. It provides magnesium, which supports healthier fruit development and can even improve flavor. It's cheap, it's easy to find, and a little goes a long way. Feed consistently, but don't overdo it. A tomato plant that's overfed on the wrong nutrients gets just as confused and stressed as one that's underfed. Balance is really the whole game here, and it's worth remembering that more isn't always better. A plant fed too aggressively can actually burn its own roots, which sets it back further than if you just left it alone. Real quick before we keep going, if this is helping you out, tap that like button. It genuinely helps more gardeners find this channel. And if you've got a tomato tip of your own, something that's worked in your garden, drop it in the comments below. I read every single one, and honestly some of the best tips on this channel came from people just like you sharing what's worked for them. Alright, back to the tomatoes. Pruning the right way to speed up ripening. Here's a habit that feels wrong the first time you try it, but it works incredibly well. Pruning. A lot of gardeners are afraid to cut anything off their tomato plant because it feels like you're hurting it. But a tomato plant left completely wild grows a ton of extra foliage and side shoots, called suckers, that pull energy away from the fruit that's already forming. Once your plant is established and producing, go through every week or so and remove the suckers, those little shoots that grow in the joint between the main stem and a branch. They won't produce much fruit anyway, especially the ones that show up late in the season, and removing them redirects the plant's energy straight into ripening the tomatoes you already have growing. Also strip away any yellowing leaves near the base, they're not doing anything productive for the plant anymore, and removing them improves airflow, which helps prevent disease and lets more sunlight reach the lower fruit clusters. Think of pruning as decluttering. You're not damaging the plant, you're helping it focus. Imagine trying to concentrate on one important task while 5 other things are constantly demanding your attention. That's what an overgrown tomato plant is dealing with, and pruning is simply clearing that mental clutter so it can put everything into what actually matters, the fruit. Just be careful not to overdo it. Removing too many leaves at once can expose fruit to sunscald, especially during intense heat. A light, regular trim is always better than one aggressive chop. The ripening trick nobody talks about. Here's something that sounds almost too simple to work, but gardeners have been using it for generations. Stress the plant, just slightly, and it ripens faster. Not the bad kind of stress we talked about earlier, but a gentle, intentional nudge. A tomato plant's biological goal is to reproduce, meaning to ripen its fruit and spread seeds. When a plant senses that its future is a little uncertain, it often speeds up ripening as a survival response. One classic method is root pruning. Late in the season, take a spade and push it into the soil in a circle about a foot away from the main stem, cutting through some of the outer roots. This mild stress signals the plant to focus its remaining energy on ripening the fruit it already has, rather than continuing to grow new branches and flowers that won't have time to mature before the season ends anyway. Another version of this trick is simply reducing watering slightly once fruit has set and started to size up. Not stopping entirely, that would stress the plant too much and could cause the fruit to crack, but easing back just a little. This concentrates sugars in the fruit, which not only speeds up ripening but often makes the tomatoes taste noticeably sweeter too. Some growers even twist the main stem gently, just enough to slightly damage the internal fibers without breaking it, which triggers a similar ripening response. These little tricks feel counterintuitive because we're taught to nurture plants constantly, but tomatoes actually respond well to a bit of controlled challenge. It's not unlike how a bit of pressure can bring out someone's best work. The key word is controlled. A tiny nudge helps, an overwhelming shock hurts. Sunlight and positioning matter more than you think. Tomatoes are sun-hungry plants, full stop. They want at least 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight a day, and anything less than that and you'll notice slower ripening no matter what else you do right. If your plant is in a container, this is actually one of your biggest advantages, because you can move it throughout the day to chase the sun, following the light around your yard like a sunflower would on its own. If your tomatoes are in the ground and partially shaded by something like a fence or a nearby tree, consider using reflective mulch underneath the plant. Something as simple as aluminum foil or a light-colored material laid around the base bounces extra light back up onto the lower leaves and fruit. It sounds almost too simple, but that extra reflected light can genuinely speed up ripening on fruit that would otherwise be sitting in partial shade most of the day. This trick works especially well for the lower clusters of fruit, the ones that often lag behind because they're shaded by the leaves above them. Positioning also matters at planting time. If you're still deciding where to place new tomato plants, choose the spot in your garden that gets the earliest morning sun. Morning light helps dry off dew quickly, which reduces disease risk, and it gives the plant a strong start to its day before the intense afternoon heat sets in. Temperature tricks for faster ripening. Something a lot of people don't realize is that extreme heat actually slows tomato ripening down, not speeds it up. Once temperatures climb above the mid-90s Fahrenheit, tomato plants often pause ripening altogether, holding their fruit green until conditions cool back down. This is why so many gardeners in hot climates feel stuck watching green tomatoes just sit there during a heat wave, wondering what they're doing wrong when really, the plant is just waiting things out. If you're dealing with intense heat, a simple shade cloth over your plants during the hottest part of the afternoon can keep temperatures in a range where ripening continues steadily. It feels backwards to be shading a sun-loving plant, but it's really about protecting the ripening process, not the plant's overall need for light. A few hours of afternoon relief is usually enough, you don't need to shade the plant all day. On the flip side, cooler nights actually help tomatoes ripen. If you live somewhere with a big temperature swing between day and night, you're actually in a great position for producing sweet, well-colored fruit, so long as the daytime heat doesn't get too extreme too often. Keep the harvest coming. This last point might be the most overlooked one of all. The more often you pick ripe tomatoes, the more the plant produces. It sounds almost too simple to be true, but leaving ripe fruit on the vine sends a signal to the plant that it's done its job. Its main biological goal has been met, so it slows down on producing new flowers, essentially telling itself the work is finished. Harvest regularly, every couple of days if you can, picking fruit the moment it's ripe or even just slightly before, letting it finish ripening on the counter. This keeps the plant constantly working toward its next batch of fruit instead of resting on what it's already grown. Consistent harvesting is honestly one of the simplest, most underrated habits for keeping a tomato plant productive all season long, and it costs absolutely nothing except a few extra minutes in the garden. So here's the real secret behind tomato plants that ripen fast and just keep producing. It's not one single trick, it's a handful of small, consistent habits working together. Deep, less frequent watering that builds strong roots. Feeding that supports fruit instead of just leafy growth. Regular pruning that keeps the plant focused. A little intentional stress at the right moment. Enough sunlight, protection from extreme heat, and consistent harvesting that keeps the plant motivated to produce more. None of this requires expensive equipment or complicated science. It just requires understanding what your tomato plant actually needs, and giving it exactly that, nothing more and nothing less. Gardening, at its core, is really just paying attention. If you try even 2 or 3 of these tips this season, I'd genuinely love to hear how your tomatoes respond, so drop a comment and let me know. And if you found this useful, subscribe to Earthly Gardening for more simple, budget-friendly ways to get more out of your garden. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.